calling the meeting to order. Welcome to the City of Milpitas Planning Commission meeting, November 19th, 2025. It's a special meeting. I'd like to read the public comment instructions. Oral public comments may only be provided live during the Planning Commission meeting in person. All comments provided shall be limited to 3 minutes or less, as determined by the chair. All public members will be limited to 1 comment per agenda item and 1 comment for non-agenda items. Members of the public may submit written comments by email to planningdepartment@milpitas.gov. I'd like to now request Commissioner Awasthi to initiate the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now may I request our recording secretary, Ms. Medina, to kindly take the roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, commissioners, staff, and community members. I will take attendance, starting with Commissioner Kong. Present. Commissioner Awasthi.
Present.
Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Present.
Commissioner Albana.
Present.
Commissioner Galong is absent this evening. Vice Chair Culkins.
Present.
And Chair Gupta.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, now I may request Attorney Creech to ask the questions regarding conflict of interest declarations.
Thank you, Chair. I ask the Chair and every other member of the Commission whether he or she has any financial or personal conflict of interest related to any of the items on tonight's agenda.
Commissioner Kong.
None.
Commissioner Awasthi.
None.
Commissioner Medina Ashby.
None.
Commissioner Albana.
None.
Vice Chair Culkins.
None.
And Chair Gupta.
None.
Thank you.
Thank you. I further ask the Chair and every other member of the Commission to please disclose any campaign contributions of $100 or more received within the last 12 months from any of the parties entering into contracts with the City on tonight's agenda, or contributions received from any development project applicants for development projects on tonight's agenda.
Commissioner Kong.
None.
Commissioner Awasthi.
None.
Commissioner Medina Ashby.
None.
Commissioner Albana.
None.
Vice Chair Culkins.
None.
Chair Gupta.
None.
Thank you.
Let the record reflect no reported conflicts. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Creech. Next is approval of the agenda for today. May I have a motion for approval of our agenda for tonight?
I make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Any second?
I'll second the motion.
Let's take a vote, Ms. Medina.
Thank you. Commissioner Kong.
Aye.
Commissioner Awasthi.
Aye.
Commissioner Medina Ashby.
Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Culkins.
Aye.
Chair Gupta.
Aye.
Thank you.
'24, 2025. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for September 24, 2025?
I approve for the approval of the minutes tonight.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Commissioner Kong.
Abstain.
Commissioner Awasthi.
Aye.
Commissioner Medina Ashby.
I'm not sure if I was here or not.
So if you reviewed the recording, then you're allowed to vote on it.
If
She was present.
I was. Okay. Aye.
Commissioner Albana.
Aye.
Vice Chair Culkins.
Aye.
And Chair Gupta.
Aye.
Thank you.
Looks like none. How about Planning Director, Mr. Lee?
Thank you, Chair Gupta. I do have a couple of announcements. The first one is that as today, this is a special meeting, which is why it started at 5:30. We usually have Planning Commission on the second and fourth Wednesday of each month. The fourth Wednesday of November would be the 26th, which is the day before Thanksgiving. So that meeting is not happening. This is the meeting in lieu of that. So the next meeting will be December 10th, just pending on any public hearing items. 7 p.m. in the same location. And then I just wanted to remind everybody in the audience, if you care about this topic, or the planning commissioners, but also just the general public, we have had a couple of fairly major zoning changes to our zoning ordinance and map. The first was a comprehensive zoning ordinance update, just a refresh of our entire zoning ordinance. So if anybody is interested in redeveloping or renovating, whether it's residential or commercial or any kind of a property, hopefully everybody is aware that, or just wanting everybody to be aware that there is a new zoning ordinance, and our staff, we're all available to help guide everyone through that, as new regulations can cause some confusion. And then also the council adopted the Gateway Main Street specific plan. This area is north of the Great Mall area, along Main Street primarily, in Calaveras, that area. And if there's a project in that area, then you are also subject to new standards and new zoning. So just to reach out to our staff as well. But just wanted to remind everyone of these pretty major changes. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Now we come to the public forum. Members of the public are invited to speak on any item that does not appear on today's agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes or less at the chair's discretion. When called to speak, you are encouraged to state your name for the record. As an item not listed on the agenda, no action will be taken, or no action can be taken. However, the Planning Commission may instruct the staff to place the item on a future meeting agenda. Now, I'd like to invite members of the public to address the Commission. Ms. Medina, are there any members of the public who wish to speak as per the public forum guidelines?
We received speaker cards, but for the agendized item, Chair.
Okay, thank you. In that case, we move on to public hearing. We have an item for public hearing about 76 gas station beer and wine sales, 190 West Calaveras Boulevard. May I request the project manager, Randy Bays, to make a presentation?
Thank you, Chair Gupta. If I can just introduce real briefly. So this is a conditional use permit for 76 gas station for beer and wine sales at 190 West Calaveras. We have our project planner, associate planner, Randy Baez here to deliver the presentation and also answer any questions. But he's joined virtually just to keep the rest of us from getting sick. So just to explain. But anyways, he's here and he'll give the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Lee, and good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, and members of the public. My name is Randy Baez, Associate Planner with the City of Milpitas. The item before you is a request for a conditional use permit to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages at an existing gas station located at 190 West Calaveras. Next slide. The applicant is requesting to allow for the retail sale of beer and wine for off-site consumption consistent with the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, or ABC, Type 20 license. The convenience store will operate 24 hours every day, but alcohol sales will be limited to 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. And no exterior changes are proposed as part of this project. Next slide. This is an aerial image of the project site and is located near the city center at the corner of West Calaveras and Sarah Way. The aerial shows the convenience store to the right and the gas station canopy closer to the corner of the property. And there is also a car wash that goes behind the convenience store. Next slide. This is the zoning map of the property. The project site and neighboring properties are all zoned C2 or general commercial. Properties to the north, south, east, and west, they're all zoned C2. The general plan land use designation for the project site and surrounding properties is also general commercial or GNC. Next slide. Here we see the end of the proposed project. The project can be accessed off of Sarah Way to the south and Calaveras to the west. Again, no exterior changes are proposed. Next slide. Here's a copy of the existing floor plan, and no physical interior modifications are proposed at this time either. Next slide. Next, here are the development standards for the C2 zone. As you can see, the project will continue to meet or exceed all development standards, even when compared to this year's new comprehensive zoning update. Next slide. The applicant is requesting the sale of beer and wine consistent with ABC license type 20. The CUP request was routed to the Milpitas Police Department for review, and here are some of those conditions. Those include sales only occurring between 6 a.m. and 2 a.m. A conspicuous signage will be posted on premises, including no open containers, no consumption of alcoholic beverages on the premises, and no loitering. And point of sale system requires cashier to scan the ID to validate age. So no alcohol will be sold if the customer is a minor. And additional conditions can be found within the conditions of approval in attachment A of the report. Next slide. The staff has created this map, which shows the census tract as well as the existing off-sale ABC permits, which include both type 20 and 21. ABC uses census tracts mostly based on population to determine how many ABC licenses are allowed in a certain area. Type 21 permits include the sales of distilled spirits, also known as hard liquor. And the census tract is generally bounded by Calaveras Boulevard to the north, Able Street to the east, Great Mall Parkway to the south, and the I-880 freeway to the west. Next slide. The project is located within ABC Census Tract 5045.08, which currently authorizes one off-sale license. Off-sale license, again, refers to sales of alcoholic beverages for off-site consumption. Because this project tract currently has 2 active off-sale licenses, it is considered to have an undue concentration. So what that means is for ABC to grant another license, the applicant must demonstrate that the proposed use would serve the public convenience or necessity per Business and Professions Code section 23958.4. And the city of Milpitas uses the CUP process to determine if a proposed use would serve that public convenience and necessity. This project meets these findings in that the proposed use is an ancillary beverage option for customers at an established gas station. In other words, nearby outlets with similar ABC licenses may operate primarily as an alcohol sales outlet, such as a liquor store, but this project would allow for alcoholic beverage sales as a secondary use, similar to a grocery store or supermarket. The project site is also on a busy commercial corridor and buffered away from residential in every direction. Although the city of Milpitas does not have any designated sensitive uses, the nearest public school is Anthony Spangler Elementary, which is located approximately 1,500 feet away. The nearest park is John McDermott Park, located approximately 2,000 feet away. And the nearest religious assembly use is St. John the Baptist Catholic Church, located approximately 1,000 feet away. And lastly, staff does not consider business competition in our analysis. Next slide, please. Staff has also created this map that helps show the locations of other existing gas stations with alcohol sales. As you can see, they are all located near the city boundaries, with Chevron in the northwest, Robbie in the southwest, and another Chevron and Arco at the corner of Landis and South Park, Victoria. This project would provide a unique convenience to the census tract to allow customers to purchase alcohol while refilling their gas or during travel. And this location is also well situated given the site's proximity to the intersection of major thoroughfares such as Calaveras Boulevard and the I-880 freeway. Next slide. The proposed project is categorically exempt from environmental review under the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, in accordance with CEQA guidelines section 15301 for existing facilities and section 15183 for projects consistent with a community plan, general plan, or zoning. Next slide. A notice was published in the Milpitas Post and at City Hall, as well as the city's website. 551 postcards were sent to property owners within 1,000 feet of the project site. A sign was also posted at the project site, and 6 comments in opposition to the project have been received to date. Staff has confirmed that the project meets the findings associated with the conditional use permit as set out in the Milpitas Municipal Code. Those findings have been discussed in the staff report and are addressed in the resolution. Next slide, please. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission open and close the public hearing and adopt Resolution 25-015, approving conditional use permit number UP 25-0005, subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval. This concludes staff's summary of the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant team is in person, I believe, and Lieutenant Kyle from the police department are also available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byers. I'd like to now ask if any commissioners have any comments or questions. I'd like to encourage all commissioners to ask questions. By asking questions, you're actually adding value. So be free to ask as many questions as you want. Thank you. Commissioner Kong.
Thank you, Chair. Randy, I have a question for you. From the map that you were showing the distribution of the gas stations with the Type 20 license, I noticed that there are 2 on the southeast corner that are right on the same, probably on the same street. At that time, was there any overconcentration for it to be approved? Because based on what you showed in the map, it doesn't seem like it's well distributed.
Sorry, which map were you referring to, for the gas stations or for this specific census tract?
For the gas stations in Milpitas, you showed a map of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the lower, you see that one at the lower right corner of at South Park, Victoria. There are 2 right on the same street, right on Landis. What was the policy then? Do you remember if there was concern about the overconcentration of similar mix of gas stations selling off-site beverages?
Yeah, I do not know that information off the top of my head. We can look into it afterwards, but there is a possibility that there are two separate census tracts near that intersection. That does happen from time to time.
Okay. And then back for this one, this particular census tract of 0.08. So in your presentation, you mentioned that it is okay from the ABC license that because of this is going to be a diverse mix. Because right now, the two other licenses, I believe one is a liquor store and the other one would be Walgreens, right?
Yes.
So does this meet the criteria of being completely different in terms of retailer? Because this is a gas station. So do you see any barrier in getting the license from ABC?
Yeah, so it is considered an off-sale license, but it is staff's recommendation that it does meet the public convenience and necessity. Essentially, the California Department of ABC, they leave it up to local jurisdictions to whether or not the project meets that finding.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I had a chance to kind of map out the other licenses in that area beyond that census tract, and it looks like we have a lot more than just those two, because we have grocery outlet that is right across from 76, that is very close to where it is at, because that one has the license as well. And then there's another liquor store that is down by Abbott. And there's also a 7-Eleven that has the liquor license that's 24 hours. So from a local area, if we just look beyond that one particular census tract, just in the vicinity alone, there are a lot of licenses already been given. And so I find it difficult as well to say that there is a public necessity. But as far as convenience, yeah, it looks like this is is a unique one, being the gas station. The rest are not gas stations. So that would be my feedback. I do have one other question. As far as condition, what we can use as conditions, do you know if, as a planning commission, we can actually condition on putting a limit on the floor space in this gas station convenience store to not exceed a certain percentage that is allocated to alcohol sales?
Acting City Attorney Creech, would you like to answer that one?
The answer is the commission is allowed to impart conditions of approval to ensure public health, safety, and welfare. So yeah, the crafting of those conditions, if necessary to address those issues, are within your discretion.
Okay, so that will include, kind of conditioning a percentage of retail space.
If you believe that there's a factual basis where to address the health, safety, and welfare that it needs to be constrained in that manner, that is within your discretion.
Okay, all right, sounds like that is potentially yes. Okay, thank you so much. That's all the questions I have for now.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Thanks. Is the applicant available? Thanks. Good evening. Yeah, thanks for being here. I see on the, that this is basically for beer and wine. Do you guys have any expectations of what your potential sales might be in that arena? I'm just curious because with other liquor stores in the area, I think they can sell pretty much everything, but just wondering the impact on them that this might impose.
Okay. My name is Gemma. I'm the permit expediter they've worked with, so I can answer like ABC related questions, but I'm going to hand this over to Mike Fakirian, who's representative of the business.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So our anticipation is
roughly about 10 to 15% overall sales of the convenience store will be impacted by this. And we are primarily looking at enhancing our overall sales. In the industry, we're losing foot traffic overall, and it's impacting sales. So moving away from some of the traditional type merchandise and products that convenience stores are accustomed to selling and increasing their sales. We are focused on bringing healthy meals, food products, as well as healthy snacks and such, and believe having some beer and wine on the side to complement those type of products in our stores will be beneficial. So we're not looking at alcohol as primary draw or main part of any type of category to enhance our sales, but to supplement. That's kind of what we're drawing our conclusion that it will, from other existing locations we have, it's maximum no more than 15% of the overall sales in this department.
Okay, thanks. I'm, as an expat, I can appreciate the combinations that you were describing there. So,
Thank you.
and obviously we live in a good area where hopefully you have access to good wines to put on shelves too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Commissioner Avasti?
Yeah, when Randy was giving the presentation, no, I don't have questions for you. You can take yours. Thank you. Sorry about that. That from the proposed gas station or the liquor licensee, the Sprangler Elementary is 1,500 square feet, but we have a Stratford School which is less than 1,000 square feet. We have the St. John's Catholic School, which is also less than 1,000 feet. We also have one worship center, one church in the area, of course, that was mentioned. And just across the street is daycare with a kindergarten, and there are 3 of them in that area. So this and as I agree with the Commissioner Kong when she pulled out the maps, and there were about 7 more, including Walgreens, grocery outlet, and we have one just 10-15 feet away, SBC Liquor, then one is on Main Street, 2 on Able Street. So this area looks very, very saturated, and I don't think that any public convenience or safety issue can be utilized here. And there are some businesses which are easy. Why are we here? If it was a bakery, we will not be here. Now, massage parlors, recently there was a gun robbery there. There are some which calls the police for action, and that includes, thankfully, Milpitas voted not to allow cannabis. Somebody proposed 10 cannabis dispensaries, and that was outrageous, somewhere near the schools, and including the liquor stores, convenience stores, and the liquor stores, they call for police action all the time. So this area looks very, very saturated. It is not a question whether we should be promoting a gas station or a Walgreen store or grocery outlet, or giving them separate categories and comparing them with each other. We have to compare that this is a sale of alcohol beverages, and public safety is involved, so many things are involved. So as of now, this is the observation, and thank you, Commissioner Kong, for that observation. And if something more comes up later, I'll talk to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Awasthi. So I'd like to now ask, is there any presentation from the applicant?
I sent this over to Randy. He had pulled it up earlier, so. A lot of these items were covered in his staff report, which was excellent. So I'm not sure that there's too much more. I think it would be good to talk a little bit about Golfco Enterprises, Inc. as a business. I've worked with them for quite a while, and they're a family-owned company and just run a really great operation. You don't always get that with these kind of businesses. So maybe, Mike, would you talk a little bit more about Golfco as a business?
Yes, thank you, Gemma. So as Gemma mentioned, Golfco Enterprises was founded in 1995, a local Bay Area family-owned group of gas stations, convenience stores. We used to be in the coffee roasting business and such as well. We care about our communities, love, and take a lot of pride in our business and operation of those businesses. We like to respectfully think and believe that we are different from the typical convenience stores and gas stations by providing clean, superior services and facilities to our customers, providing healthier options for the consumer. And we take many precautionary steps to ensure our staff's and the public safety concerns are addressed by installing cameras, scheduling appropriately during the busy times and off-hour times, checking for restricted sales IDs. We have a very diverse training program that we are very proud of. Very rare that over the years since we've been in business that anybody has failed to check ID properly and didn't run it through the scanner. So with that, we like to feel that we add value to our communities, the neighborhoods that we do business and conduct business with. We feel we are a partner with those communities that we conduct retail business, gas station business, and such. We continue to make improvements and enhance the offerings and adapt to our geographic locations and needs of our communities and customers.
I think everything else in the presentation was already addressed by Randy. I didn't see what he was going to present before we got here. So that's, I just point out that they're kind of a perfect size business. They're large enough that they have very robust training. It's a very professional company, but they're small enough. They're headquartered just over, is Lafayette? Lafayette. So they're very accessible if you need, if there's some concerns, there's somebody that is going to respond. They really are, great to work with, great with the communities, and always trying to improve the neighborhoods where they're located. So And I just wanted to commend Randy. He's been really great to work with, very communicative. So a good staff here in Milpitas.
Quick question, is this gas station owned by corporate or this is owned by, is a franchise, you have small business owner?
It's a small business owner. We have a roughly total of 68 locations, but all here in California, family owned. It is a corporation, but corporation formed by the family, by the shareholders. No, it's not a dealer of 76, not a franchise, yes.
At this point, I'd like to invite any comments from the public before we go on to any further discussion.
Can I
So,
ask a
Ms. Medina, are there any comments from the public regarding this item?
Chair Gupta,
Chairman,
can I ask question to
yeah.
the?
Yeah, go ahead.
project-
I'm sorry, there's some questions.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kong?
Thank you so much for your presentation because it was actually very interesting. I saw one slide that you said that following up to what you said about moving away from previous merchandises towards the healthy living. And I did see that you stated moving away from tobacco sales, right? Is that was on your presentation? I just wanted to know if that's the plan.
We do. We do have a tobacco license. Tobacco, to be quite frank with you, is just a category that's there, but we are not focused on it. We like to wean ourselves off of tobacco wherever possible before it's even required by law to do so.
Yeah.
It's not something that we are focused and not married to.
Okay. So it's good that I'm hearing that and seeing that in your plan as well to move away from one product into something that is maybe more healthy. But when it comes to beer and wine, I just want to understand very clearly with this license, this Type 20 license, are you restricted to only beer and wine? Can you actually sell other type of alcohol besides beer and wine?
The Type 20 only allows for beer and wine. If spirits were proposed, that would be a Type 21.
Okay.
So it's a different license type.
Got it. And from the operation of your other location, you mentioned that you have quite a number. How many have you converted over to include Type 20 licenses?
Out of the total number of sites we have, roughly about 32 are ABC licensed,
Okay.
Type 20.
And with those that you have converted, can you help us to understand as far as like how many, I know you said that you project up to 15% of your sales, but as far as shelf space, I want to come up with a reasonable restriction, if we can agree on something. How much of your shelf space in the 32 locations that you have converted have been dedicated to beer and wine?
So if I may explain it in a actually real setting of the store. For example, if we have 12 doors of beverages, out of the 12 doors, 4 to 5 will be beer, and wine is typically 1 to 2 shelves. Majority is beer. The rest is all non-alcoholic beverages. So less than half of the cooler space will be dedicated, and that's basically because the beer packages are larger than selling individual non-alcoholic beverage containers. So they take more space to store. Otherwise, it would probably be a lot less.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thank you.
I have a question. When you say that you're moving away from tobacco sales, so in all the locations which you have you stopped selling tobacco and cigarettes at any location?
Yes, we have stopped selling tobacco at roughly 4 to 5. I couldn't be certain, but it's either 4 or 5 locations that we don't sell any tobacco
Okay.
products.
Was it because of the city restrictions or on your own?
Some of them are because of the restrictions. Some of them we just didn't pursue it. We didn't feel like it was. We recently purchased a site in the city of San Jose jurisdiction, and we're right across from a school. We didn't even pursue it because we didn't want to.
Yeah, they will not allow it to, probably.
Yeah, that may be too, but we didn't even pursue it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I'll invite comments from the public. Ms. Marina, do we have any comments?
Yes, Chair, we have 3 speaker cards. First, I have Mr. Joven Saul. Oh, Joe, can you use this one? Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Joven Saul. I'm a student myself, recent graduate from high school. And my main concern is as a place that is already kind of over concentrated with a bunch of alcohol selling businesses, I feel like it's just not that safe of a location anymore. If we introduce even gas stations to have alcohol in them, especially how are you supposed to regulate who's getting the alcohol? If it's a person driving, you don't know if they're going to buy the alcohol and then go on to continue drinking and driving. I myself have personally had a friend who was run over by a drunk driver because they weren't paying attention. And it's just a scary situation for me as well to think about, especially with daycares in the area as well. And that's just my main concern. That'd be all.
Thank you.
Jason Singh.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to, listen to us today. But, appreciate the presentation. So we're also a very small business, right? We have one location. We have SPC Liquors, which is right 10 or 15 feet walking distance. So beer, wine, alcohol, it is our primary business. My dad's, 55, 60 years old. He's been running this for 10 years. This is our primary business sale. And if the city was to allow another business to have the same license with just 10 feet away, we'd most likely have to shut down our business. My dad would lose his job, and we'd also have to lay off about 3 or so employees as well. As you know, operating margins are really tight. We can't compete with someone that has 30, 40, 50 locations. On average, every gas station, convenience stores in the Bay Area is worth $5 million plus, right? We just don't have the bandwidth to compete with that. We've been compliant with the city of Milpitas. We've been here my dad's been doing business for 10 plus years. We give back to the local community. We hire in the local community. We want to continue doing business in the community. But if you guys open a license, it's just 10 feet away. It's literally the distance of where you're sitting to the end of the room, right? And we have a type 21 license, so we do sell beer, wine, but we sell spirits as well. We obviously sell responsibly. We've never gotten a ticket. We've been operating for 10 years, never sold to a minor. Perfect track record. But that being said, beer and wine, they do make up a big chunk of our sales. And if you open one up 50 feet away, we would have to just shut down. So I just wanted you guys to have that consideration. I know Randy did speak about oversaturation, right? It was Commissioner Kong. Appreciate you speaking on that. But yeah, that was our main concern. I'm kind of also curious to know, I think during the presentation at one point, it was said that there was oversaturation, and there was 6 or so complaints. I'm kind of curious to know what the other complaints were from people. So that's all. Thank you so much for hearing us.
Thank you.
could speak.
Kevin Sandu?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi,
thank you.
good evening, everybody. My name's Kevin Sandu. We own SBC Liquors on the corner in the same shopping center as the 76. If they were able to get their license, it would basically destroy a business. My dad works 7 days a week. He wakes up, he comes from far, he has to open. It would be unaffordable if they get it. Out of the, let's say, 100% of alcohol sales, for us, 70% is beer, 15% is wine, 15% is liquor. And if obviously we lose that, it's going to be hard for us to run. We're just going to have to cancel our lease and just get out. Like, it's going to be impossible for us to run at that point. We have only a couple employees. Obviously, that's a huge, it is like a small pop as well, but they're a huge chain. They have multiple stores. They have multiple employees. That would be a secondary income for them, but that's our primary income. So obviously, if our primary income goes away, it wouldn't be affordable for us to run a business. Everything's going up in prices, rent, wages, insurance, PG&E, obviously, everything's just going up in general. So it would just force us to close if we don't have revenue and sales in that. Especially since we're in the same shopping center and there is an oversaturation of stores. We're already competing with Walgreens, Smart and Final, Grocery Outlet, Bob's is down the street, Lucky Liquors is down the street, Milpitas Liquors is down the street, Star Market is down the street. All these stores are over there that we're already competing with, and just bringing one more, it would just be, especially in the same shopping center, wouldn't make any sense for us either. And then obviously that's just this type 21. There's places with type 20s like restaurants, and there's another school over there. There's a couple of schools as we talked about. There's daycares, and it's on the corner. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other card?
No other speaker cards, Chair.
Okay. So let's continue with any further comments from the commissioners based on the questions, or do have further discussion?
Chair, can I ask Randy a clarification?
Sure.
Thank you. Hi, Randy. In the census tract, one of the slides mentioned that this is the only off-site license permit that we're trying to study this evening. Is there other two more that is available, or this is once, let's say this goes, will there be any other organization that can apply?
Yeah, so just to reword that section of my presentation, the census tract currently allows for one license per ABC's requirements. There are currently 2 active licenses, so that would be SBC Liquors, and Walgreens. So this would be the 3rd license. And hypothetically, if this project were to be approved, anyone can still apply for an additional license. They would just have to meet the same requirements. Staff would have to meet the same findings of public convenience and necessity, and so on.
Do we have a maximum?
There is no maximum number that can be applied for, no.
So there are other people that can still apply.
Correct. Yes, but the more licenses, the more concentrated.
I see. This is for the off-site license, right?
Correct. Yes.
For the 20, ABC 20. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Chair.
Welcome.
Okay. I'd like to make some comment. Based on the research that I've done, a lot of the gas stations, type 20 licenses, there are some cities in other parts of California, they have been denied licenses, but there are other cities in California where they have approved them, but they have put some additional condition. And that condition seems to make sense to me. And that is that you will not sell beer or wine in a single container, like less than, for example, beer in a container less than just single container, as opposed to selling a 6-pack, for example. Because what happens with a single container, somebody comes in driving and they have the tendency to buy single can of something or a small a wine bottle or a single container of beer, and they want to drink right there in the car or right at the premises. So all these other cities which have put this additional condition, which is to deny this or not allow this single container sales. So if you do want to approve this, I think we should put that condition. Because then if you're only selling 6-packs, then chances are that safety issue will be taken care of. Because somebody buying 6-pack, chances are they're not buying that to just to consume right there, and they will probably take it home. So this has been proven in other cities with studies that it takes care of this safety issue, because most of the denials in other cities have been mainly because of two conditions. One is oversaturation, and second is the safety issue. So this kind of condition will take care of safety issue. Yeah. I understand you have some comment?
Thank you. This is a common condition. The issues that I've seen with it are primarily that single serves of liquor are problematic. This store is just proposing beer and wine, and there are a lot of premium beer products that are only sold as singles. So it limits really the products that they can offer for sale. Some, people are drinking less. They don't necessarily want to buy 6-packs to bring home. So some of them just want to buy 1 or 2 of a premium product, take that home to purchase. So one of the ways I've seen other areas condition this is that singles have to be a certain size or larger. And that way they could still sell some of these premium products, but without, a small beer to go or something. You want to make a comment?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gemma. So, just to kind of add to what Gemma just mentioned, some premium craft beer packages come in, for example, 19-ounce containers, 19-ounce cans. They do not make that in any other package. So, like a local brewery, Altamont Brewery, offers their products in that size package. We would not be able to offer and sell those type of products. I understand the concern that drivers are exposed to alcohol, but they can also fill up and go behind the store and buy the same package at the liquor store. There's no way of determining what they do. I think it's just unfair to restrict one retailer versus another, or after all, in a free market society economy, that should be taken into consideration. Competition keeps us honest. Competition is good for all businesses, in my opinion. So therefore, I respectfully disagree that it helps. It just puts one at a disadvantage versus the other.
My recommendation, based on the research that I've done and the studies that have actually taken place, and a gas station is different than a liquor store in that sense. A gas station where the drivers come in and they pick a small container, they want to drink right there and then drive away, and that can cause accidents. So it is different in that sense. But right now, I'm just saying that if we do want to approve, that this could be a good condition to put in there. I've seen limits like less than 24 ounces of cans, and wine less than 375 ml. And those are the kind of conditions I've seen based on my research for other cities. So in any case, Let's see if anybody else has any other comments.
I agree with you, Chair Gupta. Yes, if there are a lot of restrictions with the 24-ounce cans and under, because people tend to grab a can and they just drink on the way. That is why the restrictions have been put in place, and a lot of places have denied giving to oversaturated places. And this is going to be a very dangerous trend if we allow small cans like Coke cans to be given, and they can easily be passed on. I've seen sometimes people just get one 24-ounce can or 12-ounce can or from some liquor store and hand it over to a kid somewhere outside or sell it outside. Those are very, very convenient for somebody sitting outside. Even I was once asked, can you get me something? I said, come on, get out of here. So I have grandkids, man, in this area. So yes, I fully agree with you that there has to be restrictions, and bigger cans should not be allowed, if at all we approve this. But at the same time, we have to look into the saturation point of view also. Thanks. Bye.
So I have a little comment on that one too, along the lines of, to your point, I don't think we're ever going to be able to fully stop those kind of things, no matter what restrictions we put in place. It is a conditional use permit. It's been vetted, the police have been involved in this too. So the nice thing about the conditional use permit is if we start having problems with people drinking and driving, and we can narrow down that that's the location, obviously it's conditional use. We can put more restrictions on at that point and or address it in the future if there are problems. The nice thing about the kind of permit we're putting on this.
No, I agree with you. But at the same time, when a new license is given, all kind of restrictions could be applied at that point of time. Instead, that something happens and then Mothers Against Drunk Driving and everybody comes and asks us, what did you do? So it is proximity to a place. So whenever, it's not if it is a gas station or anywhere, if it is a new license, we have to see what is going on in that area and what we can do. And the research by Chair Gupta is very extensive, and there are lots and lots of places where only 12 packs are allowed. They don't allow anything without the packaging so that people can not open it and take it away. So these kind of restrictions can only be put in place while conditions if we are going to approve. But we have to also see, I heard these people over here that if there's 70% of the sale is beer, and they will close down 15 feet away. So we do not want to have someone closing down and opening another one. So this is also not good. And our economic development team we had a lot of businesses who came for grants, and we offered a lot of businesses $5,000 grants to keep them open, to help them during crisis. So small businesses, mom and pop stores are going through a lot. So we have to take everybody into consideration. So it's people before profits. So we have to take care of what the community needs and look at everybody, not just one or two persons, before you make any decision. Thanks.
Chair, can I say something?
Please, yeah.
My comment would be basically we're running a business, not about just about people. We understand that. The thing only is this is straight across the board. Is it something that it is the whole package has been studied by the police, traffic, everything. It's a convenience store wherein it also helps the community grab things faster. It's not hard liquor. Basically, my comment is there's nothing you can limit, like only a person can drink only 10 ounces. It comes in packaging. It's just a convenience store for beer and wine. So that's my it's a business proposal, and it's just whether the census tract allows it. And as Randy had put all the work, thank you, Randy, for all of that. And I also thank the gentleman who spoke about losing somebody because of DUI. But everything in life is a choice. You make a good choice. The citizens should, and any family member should make the good choice of not drinking and driving. It's a choice of the people. But the convenience stores are there also to help the community with regards to the convenience of basically grabbing things for their dinner. So, and it's limited. It's also limited to 6 in the morning to 2 o'clock. So there are those restrictions already. That's my comment. Thank you.
Chair, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner Kang.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like the restriction on the single serve by size might be hard to implement, or at least that's my perception. I kind of want to go back to what I was originally thinking about restricting by space. So the gentleman, the project applicant had mentioned that typically they have 1 to 2 shelves for wine and 1 to 3 shelves for beer. I wonder if we can use that as, as a way to restrict, right? There's an over concentration in this location, and SBC Liquor is right behind them. And in a way, we want both businesses to thrive. So if we can put a condition based on perhaps limit of 1 shelf and 2 cooler doors, and just go by that as something clear and simple as a way to allow the sales, but still restrict the volume, so that way it doesn't become kind of cannibalize on the sales of the liquor store that is in the area. I mean, that's my personal perception on this area, on this topic.
I don't know how that really restricts the volume, because they can refill those, coolers again and again. I mean, every day. So I don't think it'll restrict the volume that much.
I agree.
Other feedback on that? Anybody else? Trying to address the safety issue, which has been proven many other places through an that's the established record. But anyways. Mr. Lee, you have anything to you have managed this whole project, so what's your opinion?
I think I can just provide a brief summary for staff's recommendation. The license types are different, although they're both off-site. The hours of operation are also different. There's a primary versus accessory use, which is also different, just giving reasons for the differentiation between the two businesses. There is an undue concentration, but there are census tracts with potentially worse undue concentration, just factual information. So that's, I would say, a summary of how we came to our conclusion that they could, the finding of public convenience and necessity could be met. I'll just mention just 2 other things as we discuss this topic that I think are relevant. One is that police department has imposed a condition where there will be no exterior signage advertising alcohol sales. So it's not like it won't be probably super common knowledge unless you've been there many times or something, live nearby. But because of the no signage on the exterior, I think that'll help a little bit in terms of not people actively seeking out alcohol at the gas station. I think most people, when you want to go and purchase alcohol, you want to go where they sell alcohol. And I don't think that'll be very obvious at this location since there won't be signage. So just wanted to point to that condition that's relevant. And I also want to talk about the single container a little bit. That is a condition that we've seen in other cities, and ABC themselves have actually imposed that condition for certain businesses. So practically speaking, I would agree. It's not always easy to implement, like for the city, because it's like such a detailed thing. But I would say that condition is out there. There is a standard condition. So I think your research, you probably saw that. Just just mentioning a couple of factual things at the end there. That's about it for me.
So maybe in order to have some kind of compromise, maybe we can put both the conditions. One condition being the single container below 24 ounces for beer not allowed and wine less than 375 mil. And then we can also put the condition of maybe 2 coolers or something to limit what Commissioner Kong is saying. These are not really that difficult conditions, considering there are already many other conditions already there, right? So, I mean, the other option is to deny because of competition. Maybe this, by putting these conditions, it'll perhaps limit the concern from a competition point of view. And if that's agreeable to everybody, we can move forward.
Chair, as you said that it relieves some of the condition, can we ask someone from SBC Liquor to come up and see if you think that, since you said that you might go out of business with 70% of your sales going away, do you think these conditions will help you stay in business? You can come up and answer. Or just 2 doors and maybe less than 24 ounce, whatever, 375 mil.
Is your business only, you said 10 feet away? I mean, probably 100 feet or 200 feet, right?
No, it's 20 feet, I guess.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay, ask the
Hello?
door and
Yeah, thank you.
door and
So,
and
yeah, this thing works. Yeah, so I think our ideal situation is that there's a store 50 feet away or 20 feet away that there wouldn't be anything. I'm still curious to hear from Randy what the other complaints were. I think you mentioned there were 6 other people objecting or whatever, but I'm curious to know what those complaints were. But that being said, we would not prefer a license be issued because we would likely have to shut down. But if it was, I do agree with what Commissioner Kong is saying is maybe you just limit to 1 shelf and like 1 cooler, maybe 2, right? So especially anything, like a minimum of like a 12 pack. I think you had mentioned that as well, Commissioner Deepak. So, but ideally, to help us stay in business, I think there should be some rules regarding feet, right? Like I get, census are different and maybe we're in a different census, but we're 50 feet away.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to advertise. So people are not going to come in there just to buy liquor. They're going to come there for gas and then go inside and the corner is a little bit, they see beer and wine, they might grab something. So the point is I don't think it's going to be much of a competition in any case.
Go ahead. If there's with ABC, their signs that say no open alcohol, no loading, they had those. So anybody comes, they're gonna see that. That usually means okay, there's an ABC license, and they should have beer, even if they don't have like Modelo sign outside, right? And also, there has been like studies that when people do get drunk driving tickets, it's more from beer because when people drink beer, they don't think it's gonna affect them as much compared to liquor. So beer tickets are more common with drunk driving. So even if like we're talking about, there might not be a Modelo sign, Budweiser sign, but there will be signs that say no low drink, no open alcohol. They're not gonna have a no open alcohol sign outside of a clothing store for a reason. They're gonna have it outside business that has alcohol.
I think the main thing we're trying to raise is this is our primary business, and this is not the fuel is the fuel, right? Like, and they have their inside store. This is going to be 3rd or 4th on their list, but for us, we could be shutting down. We've been here for 10 years, right? So, but yeah, I'm kind of curious to get your guys' thought, get Randy's thoughts as well on the other 6 people or 6 rejects. But yeah.
Chair Gupta, if I may just say a few things. No, sorry, just responding to one of the comments, but also getting back to the other comments that we've received. So we could potentially ask Randy to share more about that. But yeah, it may be a good idea for you to just stay anyways. Okay. So first thing about the signage, that is true that there's another condition that says no loitering, like no consumption of alcohol on site, but I don't think those are signs that people driving along Calaveras will be able to see and be like, oh, I'm going to get alcohol there. It's people who are already at the gas station and who have purchased the alcohol. And we do have, just want to remind everyone, since this topic has come up multiple times, we do have our police department staff here who can speak to that a little bit, the concern about the DUI, because that is a valid concern. The other aspect is just for the Planning Commission, as a reminder, I think rather than looking at it so much from how will it impact other businesses, I think I would try to bring the discussion more so, does this provide a public convenience or necessity? Because as a land use decision-making body, we typically don't go into that arena of making decisions based off of like impacts to businesses. Not that it's not important, it's just what our purview is typically as a body. And then if the Planning Commission agrees, if you could maybe direct or ask Randy about the other comments received. Yeah, and I'm sure he could provide some more information.
Sorry. So for Brown Act compliance, the way that speaking works is that members of the public all are afforded the exact same amount of time. So you all have been given an opportunity to speak again, but you only get that one addition, second speaking time. And then I think, Chair, we'd need to offer that same opportunity to any other member of the public if they so wish to speak.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's normally you're not really allowed to speak the second time. So now that it has been done, anybody else who spoke earlier can offer some additional comments, or you're actually there. So go ahead. You're allowed. Yeah.
So thank you for the opportunity again. Just wanted to say that in all fairness, addressing the environment we conduct business and we do business, it's a free market economy that we are in, and we so proudly are part of it. I can assure you that these gentlemen who have the liquor store behind our location sell other competitive products that we sell, and they came in 10 years ago. We've been there much longer than 10 years at this location. So it's tit for tat, you can't sell this, we can't sell that. To me, it's, with all due respect, laughable. We haven't complained what they can sell at their location. They should be happy that we're, not complaining, and that we are asking to have a permit, and it's a fair competition. We're not looking to take business away from them. All power to them to increase their sales. That's not our purpose of doing business, to take somebody out and take their place. The 20 feet distance is actually not exactly true. From one end of our lot to the other is about 75 feet. So how could that location be 20 feet away? I think Gemma was actually mapping the location to see how far it actually is. It's farther than 20 feet. Like I said, with all due respect, I'm not arguing it is. We're all here to succeed, to improve, and offer better services and products to our consumers, communities, neighbors, and we all should be proud of that, and shouldn't really, one should not affect the other. May the best competitor win is my humble opinion in this. The type of consumers typically that are trying to cause trouble primarily goes to liquor stores to purchase those kind of products, not to a gas station, with all due respect. Please, as you make your decisions and as you consider our application, I am confident that you will take these type of issues into consideration, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. At this point, question was asked as to what are the comments from the other people. So Randy, you want to cover that?
Sure. So, not sure how much specificity you want from the comments, but they were generally related to overconcentration of licenses in the area, competition with other businesses, nearby liquor store, another person in opposition saying that there's a lot of liquor stores in the city. And yeah, opposition against a corporate gas station selling beer and wine. But just additional contextual information that the majority of ABC licenses in the area are in a separate census tract, including grocery outlet and that shopping center.
Okay, thank you, Randy. That's the way I remember reading those comments, primarily in those two areas. One was the oversaturation, and the second one was safety. Those are the two types of comments I saw. At this point, one final call for any comments. Otherwise, we can take a vote.
Yes, sure.
I'd like to at this point close the public comments, and for that requires a vote. Motion. Okay. Is there a motion to close the public comments?
I make a motion to close the public comments.
The second.
I second that.
Thank you. Commissioner Kong?
Aye.
Commissioner Wasti?
Aye.
Commissioner Medina Ashby?
Aye.
Commissioner Albana?
Aye.
Vice Chair Culkins?
Aye.
And Chair Gupta?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. At this point,
Yeah, I have a comment. Here. Yeah, of course.
yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned the first letter which I see of the public comments, of course, oversaturation, you mentioned public safety and nuisance risk. And the third also the lack of community need or benefit. Because of we go to number one, which is oversaturation. So there is, I don't see any lack of community need, or, I mean, there's no need for the community, or there'll be no benefit. And impact on local businesses, we already heard. The economic development, they want more businesses to come in, and we have been helping businesses, giving them grants of $5,000. Many have been given so that they don't close and they don't go. And here is one business which is openly saying that they are going to close down. And we shouldn't be letting that happen too. So if it is agreed with, as everybody stated, with 2 doors and 24 ounce and 375 ml, as Chair Gupta stated, and anything which is covered 12 packs or over, if we can come to that concessioness, and so I would be ready to say yes on this. Otherwise, I don't see there is any need for approving this license in an oversaturated area, and with no lack of community need and impacting small businesses in the area who say they will be shut down. These are my 2 cents. Thanks.
I think one of the main justification of allowing this was the convenience. I mean, if somebody is coming to get the gas, which and then it's for convenience, they can grab a can of, not a can is not allowed now, a 6-pack of beer.
A 6-pack is open.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes closed. So the closed is 12 packs and over, if it is in a cardboard container. One can even snatch.
Okay, that part No, but at least should not be a single container below those ranges we mentioned should not be allowed. But the point is that it's the convenience that comes into play. For that, I don't know if we can really deny it from that point of view, because somebody already coming there to take gas, and then they go in and they want to grab something to eat, and then they see beer and wine, and then they grab it. So that's the justification. But anyway, any more comments?
Chair, may I? Yes.
Yes.
The purview of this commission is to review what our staff has done in the city with regards to its zoning. The police department had continued to input safety measures. The purview here is to discuss that it has met all the requirements. Whether it's, we have comments that says they're going to lose their business, that's not yet a fact. If right now they're already existing and making good, we can continue, because the gas station won't have signs, alcohol for sale. They'll just sit there and grab it for convenience. They're not selling hard liquor. I would go to Bevmo down the street and get my special branded hard liquor, although I just said that, as a comment, but I don't drink. So anyway, but definitely everybody knows that it's the beer that people keep drinking in parties. They buy this off the site. We might not have a problem, but they keep drinking at home in a party. It was a news that one student was found drowned in the pool because they had intoxicated. But see, that is the result of their undisciplined drinking and driving. However, that has nothing to do with the purview that this has met all the requirements. And to me, it's for the convenience of the community, and business will flow. Business will flow. It's how you do your marketing. People have come to other stores. You said it's oversaturated, but why is everybody making money until now? So no comment about tariffs, but it basically is existing, and even the city of Milpitas is prospering. So to me, we've got to look at the purview of this meeting, all the what the staff did, that it meets the requirements. So that's my comment. Thank you, Chair.
I agree with partly with, oh, you want to say something? Go ahead. Partly with what you said, Commissioner Mercedes. The staff has done very well. They have done a great job. And there have been inputs from the community. We cannot ignore that. There are people, there are families who will be going out of business or will have business. So the police have done their job. The police is not concerned. They know that, okay, with this area, we can have this. So they have done their job. The planning department have done their job. Randy has done his job. Everybody has done their job. Why it has come to the commission? Why? The question is that it has come to the commission because here we are to determine whether we need this or we don't need it. If you think that it is to be needed, then the commission is not required. If everybody has done their job, there is no public hearing, nobody wants to say anything, and we go by whatever has been written. The police say, okay, it is okay. The police will not say whether these containers are allowed or not, whether we should give them one or two, the limited space. So they are not going to say anything. These are the things which we have to say, which we have to take care. We have a responsibility towards our Milpitians plus other businesses. So I firmly think that we need to have certain type of restrictions like we all talked about. I am more than willing. If it is a 12-pack, which cannot be opened, it's in the back of the car, you take home, do anything you want to do. And no single sales less than 24 ounce. And at the same time, the 375 ml of the beer and 12 packs, 2 like Commissioner Kong wanted 2 shelves, I think we should be ready to go.
I don't think all of
Commissioner
us
Sonia has a
agree.
comment.
Sorry. I don't think all of us agree with the restrictions, so
this
we
was my
can't,
perception.
so we can't vote on that. We have to vote on what is presented in front of us right now.
Anybody else with any comments or questions? No?
I kind of do, just real quick, because, this is not the first one of these that we've run across, but this is the first time I've heard of us putting these kind of restrictions on there. So I would tend to, I agree about the other business, and there's the economic development that might be able to help work with you guys too on if it does start failing, to repurpose parts of the business or ways to do that. I would love a class on mixing drinks and mixology. So, I'll come participate in that if you guys put that together. But for our purview, with what we're trying to do here, I think we should stick with what staff has presented. And I think they've done a really good job with their homework on it.
Yeah, my staff has presented. They already put in a bunch of conditions. So by adding a couple of conditions, I don't think it affects them that much. Mr. Lee has already he's already accepted that single-use containers are very common condition, right? And so I think when you say other liquor store had come in the past and we approved it, maybe at that time, actually myself had not done that much research, to be honest. I didn't know about this issue. So now we are more educated, we know better. So now might as well put the condition for the benefit of the community.
We can't agree on that. We don't agree on that, so we can't vote on the restrictions. Right? Or we have to.
If I may, just as a matter of procedure. So any member can make a motion. That motion can include amendments or changes to the proposed recommendation. The recommendation is just a proposed form of motion. So for instance, if a member wanted to propose additional conditions to the conditions of approval, they could do so. If they need help informing the form of those conditions, I'd be happy to provide information about that. I do have some suggestions on the 2 conditions that are being proposed on perhaps getting some greater clarity on the conditions that are being floated.
Okay. So I would like to then make a motion to approve this application and put in those 2 additional conditions and that we have been discussing. So based on that, we can take a vote and see if it goes through.
Sorry, procedurally, a couple of things. First, you'd need a second before taking the vote. But also, I think that we need a little bit more clarity for the record exactly what those 2 additional conditions would be. I'm just speaking from what I had heard. One of the conditions related to single servings of alcohol, which would be to say single servings of alcohol are prohibited unless a serving container exceeds the size of, and then we'd need to specify what the size is. I had heard you say 24 ounces for beer, just to make sure that I'm clear, because my understanding is that a typical beer can is 12 ounces. A tall boy is 16 ounces and a stovepipe is 19.5 ounces. So just to make sure, if the condition being proposed is a single serving container of alcohol must be over 24 ounces. Just want to make sure that that's what you're proposing. And then a typical wine bottle, I think, is 750 milliliters. I think you were proposing 375 milliliters.
Yeah, half.
Okay, so that a single serving of wine could not be sold unless it was greater than 375 milliliters.
Correct.
Okay, and then the second condition that had been floated was a square footage limitation on the total amount of sale area for that. And that's another place where I thought there might have been some confusion. What I heard the applicant say was that in their plans, the store has 13 cabinets. 3 of those are frozen, 10 of those are not. And that they were saying that they typically have, I think, 5 of those for alcohol. So my understanding, just looking at the plans, is that those cabinets are 3 feet each. And my experience has been that those cabinets are about 28 inches deep. And so and that they're using the full cabinet, not just a particular shelf. But Commissioner Kong, I think you were talking about limiting that to less than the total number of cabinets and less than the total number of shelves in those cabinets. So what you may want to specify is a square footage marker or a number of cabinets marker. But even if you did a number of cabinets marker, that can be ambiguous because that depends on the type of cabinet installed. So what I might suggest is a total square footage.
Randy might be able to help us out here. So what is the total square footage of both the cooler as well as shelf space that is being proposed in the floor plan?
Sure, 1 second. Let me see if I can get an estimate for that.
And the whole reason I want to have this condition in there is just so that it doesn't become like the dominant business later on. If we do not put a restriction, they can turn it into 100% beer and wine sales, right? So it would be good if, because of the differences of businesses, what we want to do is provide a diverse mix. And this is a mini mart, and you want to do other, merchandise in there, but at the same time, I would like to see that beer and wine doesn't become their primary, sales. So restricting the square footage by, like if Brandy can calculate how much of the shelves and refrigeration that is being proposed, if we can put a percentage of it allocated for beer and wine as the limit, that will allow us to keep this operating as a real convenience, right? A real mini mart that has the real mix of products and not just counting on expanding it to.
So
be
should
the
we put
primary.
some kind of percentage that maybe out of all the cooler space, let's say 20% cannot be more than 20% of the overall cooler space? Pick a percentage. I'm just
Yeah,
through a
I
number.
would be good with it, whichever that would
What's
be
the
most
reasonable
clear,
number? We don't want to put
easiest for
too big a
Chris.
restriction.
What I might suggest about that condition, though, is if you do it as a percentage on cabinets, they're required then by that condition to have all their alcohol within those cooler cabinets. If you have a square footage requirement, it's flexible and allows them to choose where they use their sales space for alcohol. So if you do it by percentage of number of cabinets, the number of cabinets can expand, and they have to put all of their alcohol in those cabinets, which may have an unintended consequence of that condition. And then just to clarify, those conditions, regardless of if not imposed on other alcohol projects, can be justified by this particular project, the particular convenience it's meant to serve in order to substantiate the findings necessary for the ABC approval.
Maybe the applicant can suggest what percentage or what's the reasonable restriction so that you're not affected too much.
Yeah, thank you. I would say from the overall total number of cabinets, like Attorney Creech was pointing out to, I would say, to be fair, minimum 35% of those total cabinets, just to be able to house and display the varieties that's there, and that will not cover even maybe 20% of what's available. So, we'll have to go with the most popular brands and forfeit many other varieties that we will not be able to carry. That would be fair.
I've seen for on-sale licenses that they put a restriction on sales of alcohol, so maybe that's a consideration too, that 15% of the store sales can't exceed alcohol. And I also just wanted to mention regarding the singles, when you limit a single to 24 ounces, those are the ones people tend to overdrink. The premium products are smaller. So, under 16 ounce restriction on single sales would allow them to have those premium products that people don't tend to overdrink versus a bunch of large single beers that, you think of when you think of children underage drinking. They're not buying the expensive premium 16 ounce cans. So I think that's a good consideration.
I have a question for, I'm not sure if the public comment is still open. Can I still ask question and get answers?
So the public comment period has been closed. If there are questions for the applicant can always be asked questions. They have a due process right to be heard.
Okay, so this will be a question for the applicant. You mentioned that you have dealt with restrictions from other locations whereby they kept it on sales. Is this correct?
That's right.
Okay, so you have done this before in other locations. So how do you monitor that? When do you lock the door? Like, do you actually lock the cabinets when your sales for the month exceeds a certain percentage? How do you manage?
Well, essentially, it allows a peace officer or a representative from the city to look at records. And so if there's a concern that all of their sales are alcohol, you can request records, and they have those based on sales data. So it gives them a little more flexibility on how they set the store up. I haven't seen percentage. I haven't seen that condition on ABC licenses of certain number of cabinets. I think some cities might have a percentage of floor area that is limited to alcohol displays. But those are the two things I've seen is a percentage of floor area limited to alcohol display and sales data.
I appreciate it because initially when I thought about this restriction, I was going to go with the percentage of floor area, right? Because that's what I was initially talking about. But when I heard, the applicant talked about how the shelves are being done and how many are dedicated to it, I thought that would be a simpler way to, kind of quantify it. But I think Chris, our attorney, also mentioned that it's better to be clearer based on square footage. Is that right? Is that what I get it from what you were saying?
My point was that if you impose a condition that says the alcohol display will be limited to, so if they have 10 non-freezer containers and you say it's 35%, so let's say 3 of them. The consequence of that condition is not just that they're limited to 3 cases, it's that they can't have alcohol sold anywhere other than in those 3 cases. So they couldn't be displayed outside of those cases. So the term might have a greater level of limit and restriction on the business's operations than intended. A square footage term, even one that was designed to get the total square footage of those 3 cabinets, by contrast, would give the business the flexibility to choose where they put those, where they use that square footage for display and sale of alcohol.
Okay, I appreciate that because I would not want to restrict the business owner in terms of the flexibility of where they want to set it up, because at the end of the day, it's their business to run. But I'm kind of debating. I'm not sure if Chair Gupta, you want to chime in, which is easier to
I think
do.
maybe doing percentage of sales is probably the easiest thing to manage. So I'm okay with 15% of sales.
I might say on that condition, from my experience, that has not been a condition that jurisdictions have imposed because of the enforcement aspect of it. By contrast, there's ability to more readily enforce and determine. And for the business, frankly, there's an ability to more closely make sure that they're in compliance and not accidentally fall out of compliance. So if you're looking to try to make sure that this business remains a convenience source rather than a dominant sales purpose, one thing that you could do if you wanted to go with a square footage model. So if I'm correct, and maybe a question for the applicant, that these containers are 3 feet wide and less than 3 feet deep. Then for three containers, you're looking at 27 square feet. So call it 30. You could have a 30 square foot limit, or a 50 square foot limit if you want to be more flexible. Or you could impose such other limits as you believe are necessary to make sure that the use remains a convenience rather than a dominant purpose.
There will be some wine display that isn't in coolers as well. So it's not all in coolers, but it would be nice to have some flexibility to display outside of coolers.
So following up on what the attorney suggested, if it's just square footage, so let's say if you put a condition 30 square feet anywhere in your mini mart, you can break it down however you want to display it, but total square feet area as far as floor area, that would be something that I'm comfortable with, but I want to know if business-wise it's feasible to fit within your plan, your floor plan today. That way it provides you the, flexibility to move things around, but at the same time continue to make sure that you operate as a mini mart as the first and foremost purpose of this place.
I believe total square foot share will be something we can work with as long as all the different components are taken into consideration, such as there are wines that you cannot sell cold and will not sell cold, so as long as those are taken into consideration, that can be displayed at a secondary location. I think that can be workable.
So, Chair Gupta, I guess my proposed wording would be 30 square feet, and it doesn't have to be contiguous. It can be anywhere with 30 square feet of floor area anywhere in the store.
I have a question, Chair, to the applicant before we pass that condition.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So with 30 square feet, will that include the cooler cabinets and also outside total square footage of 30? Will that be enough?
Yeah, I don't know if 30 will be enough, to be honest. Yeah.
30 is,
Enough.
quite frankly, not enough.
30 square feet for the coolers,
No, she's talking about total, but
total.
we just kind of thinking loud here. So you can come up with what do you think is a reasonable number?
Yeah, 45 to 50 would be reasonable. It's still limited, but I think it's
Doable.
reasonable, doable.
Okay, let's go with 50. Oh, Randy has some comment?
Yeah, sorry. So I did a rough calculation. The refrigerated area on the floor plan is about 400 square feet. So even just 30% of that would be 120 square feet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But does that include the frozen square footage as well as the area that's accessible by clerks in the back? Like that's total refrigerated square footage, right?
Total refrigerated, including the frozen area, which is roughly, I would say 100 square feet of that.
We're only talking about the display square footage, not the square footage behind the display.
Right, and that was what I was going to clarify. The conditions these are typically written as are display.
Yeah.
Because storage.
Yeah, storage
is-
can be a
is
big
at
room
discretion.
behind. Yeah. So the display part of it, plus some other additional storage you need on the shelves, that you're saying is 50 square foot is good enough, or you want?
Yeah, it would be limited. It would be limited, but, we're at the mercy of the Planning Commission, so we're just asking for fairness, that's all.
Now, why do you want to vote on restrictions if you're giving them already 50%? It's just, the restrictions just seems absurd to me.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Giving them what?
If we're giving them 50% restriction, like why don't we just let them do their displays as they please? Like, I don't understand the restriction of 50%.
50%, where did that come from?
That's what you guys asked them,
We
if
asked them
50% was enough.
50 square feet, square feet.
50 square feet
Yeah.
of the 400 square feet fridge.
No, not of the 400, because 400 was, Randy was calculating the one that includes the storage. We were just talking about the display.
Display area.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
If I may,
Okay, well,
this,
somebody propose something.
the calculation, like just taking the whole area is not necessarily relevant because most of that area is just storage. So I would take that out of the calculation. We have to know how deep the shelves are. So that's why 50 out of like 400 sounds extremely small, but I don't think that's accurate because it's not going to be 400 feet of display.
Yeah. If I may, just to clarify, each one of those doors are 30 inches wide by 79 inches tall. And they typically have 6 to 7 shelves. Each shelf has that about 28 inches wide, 27 inches deep.
So I think the critical number if we're talking about floor area is just really how wide and deep, not necessarily the height, because we're just going by floor area. So if it's 2.5 feet wide, and then how deep was that again?
27 inches deep.
Okay, so 2.75 deep, then we just, multiply.
Yeah.
So if you go 2.5 feet wide, 2.75 feet deep, and then you have 3 of those cabinets, then that ends up being a little over 20 square feet. And then if you include the wine space, I don't know how much that is, so then you can come up with a rough number. So I think 50 seems like a reasonable number based off of like 3 or 4 cabinet spaces and then any wine space. But
So wine space on the shelvings will be just basically one block of those shelf space, 36 inches wide, maybe 4 inches, four shelves.
Do that much, so. Actually, 50 is fairly generous. I think it's good, more than what you will actually use. So I think, let's try to have a closer. I think I still have the issue with respect to single container, because all my research said the 24 ounce was the limit they have used everywhere that I've seen. So you're saying 16 ounce, that puts still doubt in my mind.
Well, it's just that the products that are available at 16 tend to be more expensive and more unique and not available in multi-packs. California's got a lot of small producers. You know, they like to feature some of those more local, unique producers. That's part of what makes the store feel less like a chain and more like serving the community that it's in. So that restriction it makes it really hard to stock unique products if it's a limit 16. Sorry.
If we put 16, and 16 is a popular number, and then that's the part we are trying to avoid. People will grab those and drink in the car or outside the store.
The 12-ounce ones are the normal, right? Is it 12 ounce in a?
Yes, yeah, for the six-pack.
For the 6-pack size, yeah. So.
If I may just say this, the folks who are buying alcohol to get drunk in public and cause trouble, those type of alcohols are very well known to the retailers. Our liquor store friends can attest to that. They are malt liquors, malt beers, Old English, Natural Light, those type of things. Those I will voluntarily not even carry and limit ourselves to imports and crafts, high-end quality beverages that one can enjoy with a meal or watch a game and sit in front of a TV and have, a moment of relaxation. That's what we are trying to offer to our customers, not, the type of things. And they don't, those type of beers don't come necessarily in 24 ounces or 16 ounces. They can come in a 40-ounce bottle or a 32-ounce bottle as well. That's what those type of folks are after, not the typical size that we're trying to put restrictions on here.
So we settled on the 50 square feet on the other side. So this one, 24 versus 16, but you're okay with 375 mil on the wine side? Yeah, that seemed to be okay.
We can,
So maybe we can change it to 16 ounce on the beer, because I think some of us probably don't want any restrictions, so maybe.
Yeah, Chair, I think we should let it remain. The standard we have seen is 24 ounce or less. I've never seen anywhere 16 ounce.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I know you have been in the liquor business yourself, so.
Yeah, so that is what I have seen.
Yeah.
That's the standard. And that is when you say that you'll not be selling malt or 24 ounces. So it does not matter. And you want to sell high-end goods, which is good, but we have to have some kind of restriction somewhere so that it's fair to everyone and it's not covering the oversaturation. 24 ounce is the standard if you have to place. Otherwise, 16 ounce and under, it's just 12 ounce and 16 ounce is just a can of Coke. There is no difference. So we should be at least sticking to 16 ounce.
So I don't personally have that much knowledge in this, so he's the expert on the panel on this subject. So you had, you had to convince each other, I guess.
I'm a liquor license consultant, and I don't see 24-ounce restrictions on licenses for off sales. I've seen single serve under 16 restricted and single serve of liquor, which tends to be the biggest problem. But I know from these types of clients that the drinking trends have changed a lot in the last couple decades. A lot of times the problem loitering isn't even people coming in to buy alcohol. They're coming in to get food because they're using other drugs. And so the alcohol piece isn't as dangerous as it was in the past when a lot of these restrictions were first put on. And I think the fact that the police department weighed in and didn't add their recommendations for conditions speaks volumes, because a lot of police departments do. That's very common if it's a problem area, that the police don't want more, don't allow these licenses to get approved. So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, as long as the police department, they just check the area that, well, there is no problem to have another license. But as far as the restriction on the amount of container or the 6-packs or anything, that we have to see as a city to decide. ABC has no problem with that. Every city decides on its own, and every location decides on its own. We are already overlooking the oversaturation point. We are overlooking that there is a daycare center and kindergarten, 3 of them. There are 2 churches. There are 2 schools over there, middle schools. We are overlooking, when we are discussing, we are overlooking many, many things. And I don't know why, but I am with everybody when we are overlooking all those things. But there are certain things I still think that we should have certain restriction due to the oversaturation. And we do not want people coming, grabbing single 24-ounce cans and just taking them away. So the general restriction has been 24 ounce across the board. And if it is a 12-pack and you can have the space as we all discussed, I think you should be good to go.
I just respectfully, the convenience aspect is that you don't have to bulk purchase when you're buying. If you want to buy 12 packs, there's a lot of other businesses around that you would go to for that. This is a convenience market, and you're not stocking up your groceries list at this sort of place. So having that limit really makes the alcohol component unusable for them if it's, if they're not allowed to serve convenience for their customers, they're not going to shop there. So this is really a way to enhance the products they already have, the meals, the snacks, the, things you pick up as you're headed home after a long day and you don't want to do all of your grocery shopping or whatever it is. You can buy the product that you like because it's sold in smaller quantities and not overdrink and not have to purchase 12 or 6 to take home.
I've seen this area when this was not even developed, and you guys have done a great job. It's a very modern gas station, very modern store. Thank you for doing that. And you have this car wash, and you added a lot of employees. You brought a lot of business to that area. So you added 3 businesses basically starting from the gas. And this will be your 4th edition. But at the same time, when we talk to the people across the street or in the same complex, and they were agreeable that if we allow this, so they can stay in business at least. So we have to be fair on everybody. So here we are, which is their primary business. So in all fairness, looking at them, looking at you, that is why I talked about that if we can agree to something which does not affect them, does not affect you that much, you get a conditional use permit, and we are all good to go home tonight.
It affects the business quite a lot, though. Those aren't small restrictions on a convenience market.
Yeah, I have to agree. You said to be fair, I don't believe there is any other liquor store or any other store that sells alcohol that is restricting people to one, you can't come in here and buy 1 beer. You have to buy a 12-pack or you have to buy a 6-pack. That's not fair. And that's not convenience.
No, but there are a lot of them.
Who?
It all depends on the license.
I would agree also with the 50 feet, 50 square footage for display space, because I do like that idea to make sure it maintains as a convenience store. But I don't like the single use conversation that we're having. I would rather just let them sell what they sell, limit the overall space to the 50 feet, because I think that's manageable. But I don't like the, telling them what size beers to sell and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that has been proven if you look to, research on all the safety issues that have come up in other cities in California. This single can beer has been excuse me, I have a little bit of problem. That has been a problem which caused a lot of safety issues. So I think it's important. This is only question of what the threshold is.
That has been an issue. That is why ABC restricted it 24 ounce. They did not restrict to 12 ounce, 16 ounce, 18 ounce. 24 ounce or less is where the restrictions are in most of the places. And this came out of research, out of the problems which arise along the times.
So do you agree with what he's saying, that ABC also has a restriction of 24 ounces?
I don't see that as a common restriction on off-sale licenses. Occasionally, police departments request a condition for singles. It's usually at stores that sell spirits because the airplane bottles are a problem. It's discretionary. You can certainly add it, but just as an observation, I don't see 24-ounce single restriction almost ever. I don't think I've seen that in the past 5 years being applied anywhere. So.
Yeah, but I have seen a lot of them, and he has done research also. And there has been, maybe you have not seen it, a lot of people have not seen it, but we have seen. And
I could do more research on that. I can provide that to the commission. It's something we often The singles are something we try to address because of the change of drinking trends and because a lot of these products that are people come in and want to find are only available as singles. There's no, there's no mini bottles here. This is beer and wine. So 16 ounce allows for a lot of those premium products. I don't think a lot of people are coming in to buy a single 12 ounce. If they want to drink too much and be a nuisance in the neighborhood, they're going to buy 40s or the 24 ounces of cheap alcohol. These ones that they want to sell aren't cheap. They're what people come in and want to pair with their meal, though.
No, and if I may, like I said, I will volunteer to restrict ourselves from those cheap type beers to make the commission happy and keep those type of folks who are loitering and troublemakers, if I may, away from our location, so they don't buy it from here. They can go somewhere else. I'm sure there's plenty of places where they can buy that, but and we will not allow the breaking of a 12-pack or a 6-pack so the customer can buy a single unit out of a 6-pack. Those are sold only by packages. Gemma, comes to a very important point of this, is that a lot of premium, high quality, local brew craft beers are packaged in 19 plus ounces. And if we're not able to sell those, then we're restricted on offering the type of variety that we like our customers to come and shop our stores.
The malt liquor which you're saying is hardly 5% of all the 24 ounce or less, or maybe less than 2%. There are only 2 or 3 type of malt liquors, which beers.
Yeah, it's not just malt liquor. There's like Keystone, Natural, Light, and such that's low budget beers that sells, and there are locations where you get 75% of your sales are those items from the total beer sales. I am volunteering to not carry those. I think that's more than fair.
So if you're, if I may, so if you're going to sell high-end beer product, so can you have so it's very difficult to ascertain at this point of time which you want to eliminate, which you don't want to eliminate. So let's say a $10 restriction, you won't sell anything less than $10 if the high-end beers are expensive. So we could have something like that, if you can agree to that.
I don't think there's a
we should be
value
restricting what he
limitation, but
We should not be restricting what he sells.
Sorry, we shouldn't be speaking over one another.
Yeah. There are budget beers, there are domestic premium, there's imports, there's crafts, those type of classifications. And Gemma will more than likely be able to put a list together for you and present and say, here are the type of items that we think are those type of products. And if you agree, you approve it, or if you disagree, that's also.
Yeah, when you were, that $10 just came in my mind because you were speaking of very high-end, high quality beer. So I thought maybe the money restriction can come into picture if there is a blanket approval. That's what I thought.
Randy wants to say something. Go ahead, Randy.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to provide a little bit more context. I've been reviewing discretionary permits for alcohol for about 10 years now, and I have not seen a restriction that had a minimum of 24 ounces for alcohol. I have seen some cities completely prohibit single sales, but I have not seen a 24 ounce minimum.
And then if I may, for the part for based upon the quality of the alcohol, those kinds of conditions are difficult, if not, can be very difficult to write, primarily because an entitlement is granted at a particular moment in time, and those products can change over time, and the entitlement will run with the land indefinitely. So picking out, even defining by brand or type, a particular set of products will not create a workable condition. So if the commission is trying to address the issue for ensuring convenience and ensuring that the convenience paired with transportation is appropriately controlled, I might suggest trying to work for other kinds of conditions to address the concerns that the commission has already brought up.
So based on what I've heard and looking, it looks like there's some conflicting data. I would tend to, at this point, say let's go with 16 ounce, and we're going to see if we hear a lot of complaints and run into some issues with respect to safety and people drinking on site and in the car or on the premises. Then maybe we can come up with make a change later. That seemed to be the only conflict at this point is 16 ounce versus 24 ounce. All the other conditions are, looks like we have come to a conclusion. So if that's the case, we can move forward.
So Chair, if I may, because this was one where you began a motion and then I think we had discussion to clarify that motion. So if I understand your motion as currently stated, it's to approve as recommended by staff, as stated in the recommendation we had up previously, with two added conditions of approval. The first being that alcohol may not be sold in single-service containers unless sold in containers 350 milliliters or greater for wine, or 16 ounces or greater for beer. And then the second condition being that the total amount of square footage used for the display of alcohol products for sale shall not exceed 50 square feet.
That's correct.
That's the motion as stated, and then we would need a second.
Chair, I need clarification on that. What do you mean on the sizes? Would that be good for the applicant, or they will start? No, I cannot vote until I'm clarified, because I would rather have a list of what they are. Why?
So they're happy with the 16 ounce. That means 16 ounce or below they can sell. Okay. Sorry, 16 ounce and above. 16 ounce and above they can sell. Below 16 ounce they will not sell for beer.
What about what you say?
For single-service containers. Huh? For single-service containers, you
for
can
single-service containers, yes. So that condition is acceptable to them. They can work with that. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
What about you, Chair Cockins? Were you going to say something?
So if we're going to add those conditions, can we, it's a yes or no on the whole thing, or can we vote yes on part of it and no on one of the conditions?
So the first we'd need a second before a vote would be called. So someone has to second the motion. The vote would be on the motion as stated as a whole. If, however, the motion failed, you could obviously have another motion brought, or someone could suggest an amended motion or anything else if they have differing views on that.
I have a question, Attorney Critch. If it is, if it doesn't pass, what happens?
Then someone else can bring another motion, or there can be further discussion.
I see. All right. Thank you.
We do not yet have a second, though.
So I made the motion, but we just discussed, we need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, Ms. Medina, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Kong,
Aye.
Commissioner Wasti,
Taking a motion for approval
With the
two conditions.
with the two conditions of 16 ounce and 50 square.
16 ounce, 375 mil, and 50 square feet.
50 square. I deny the motion.
Nay. Nay. Oh, she didn't call her name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Medina Ashby,
Nay.
Commissioner Albana,
Nay.
Commissioner Calkins,
Nay.
Chair Gupta.
Aye.
Thank you.
So based on that, the motion is denied, rejected. So here we go. We need another motion or some further discussion.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-015, approving conditional use permit number UP 25-0005, subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval.
I second.
Commissioner
This is
Kong,
without any condition. Now go ahead.
Without any additional conditions.
Commissioner Kong,
Nay.
Commissioner Wasti,
Nay.
Commissioner Medina Ashby,
Aye.
Commissioner Albana,
Aye.
Vice Chair Calkins,
Aye.
Chair Gupta.
Nay.
So the motion fails 3-3.
We are stuck at 3 each, so that doesn't pass either.
So can I make a motion to adopt Resolution 25015 approving conditional use permit number UP 250005, subject to the findings and attached conditions of approval with the additional condition of the 50 square foot limitation on display?
I second.
Commissioner Kong,
Aye.
Commissioner Awasti,
No.
Commissioner Medina Ashby,
Aye.
Commissioner Albana,
Aye.
Vice Chair Calkins,
Aye.
and Chair Gupta.
Nay.
Thank you.
We get one.
So there are, I think, 4 yeas and 2 nays, right? So it passes. All right, it passes with only one restriction of 50 square feet. Thank you.
Sorry. With all of the conditions of approval contained in the draft resolution and the addition of that condition.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, move on to new business. Is there any new business to discuss? Has anything to bring up for new business?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Let's move on to finish rest of the items. So I'm supposed to read the statement. Any person aggrieved by any final decision of any board, commission, or department head to the City of Milpitas may appeal the decision to the City Council by filing written notice of the appeal with the City Clerk within 12 calendar days of the date of said decision and paying the required fee. This time limit shall be strictly enforced. Now it's time for adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Kong,
Aye.
Commissioner Wasti,
Aye.
Commissioner Medina Ashby,
Aye.
Commissioner Albana,
Aye.
Vice Chair Calkins,
Aye.
and Chair Gupta.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.